Welcome back to school, Riggs students. This is Mrs. Bucci and Mr. Coverdale here to go over a few points of emphasis on the handbook. The purpose of this is just to familiarize everybody with all of our school policies and get everybody off on the same page as we start the school year. First things first is knowing where to be and when to be there. All Riggs schedules can be found on our website. The schedules are typically 8:15 to 3:02, but once in a while we'll have an assembly, and all of those can be found on our website or in the front office. The ladies there are very helpful as well.
We will help you. Yes, we will.
Attendance is the single most important piece to your academic success. Our attendance policy at Riggs, each student is allowed 6 excused absences each semester, and that is per course. Personal illness past 5 days require a doctor's note. If you're ill during the day, you need to check in and check out with the office. Student activities, for example, if you're gone for an activity like sports or oral interp or something like that, does not count as part of the 6 absences. However, if you are going to be gone for a student activity, it is your responsibility to get the classwork done prior to leaving for that activity. Also, juniors and seniors with opens, if you are absent more than 6 times, you will have your opens closed. And this includes excused absences. So even 6 excused absences will result in closing of an open. Makeup work. We have unplanned absences. Students have 2 days for each day missed, with a maximum of 5 school days to get that work turned in. Planned absences, if you know you're going to be gone in advance, it is your responsibility to pick up all the assignments prior to leaving and to have them ready to turn in upon return. A partial day absence, contact the teachers that same day and make up all missed assignments prior to class the next day, or make arrangements with that teacher. And obviously unexcused absences are a whole different deal.
We will find you. Yes, we will.
Skipping a class will result in closed campus or closed open if you're a junior or senior, as well as detention. No credit will be earned for classwork on a day when you have an unexcused absence.
Each student is giving 2 tardies per semester without any type of consequence. If you are tardy for a class for some reason, you can check in with the office and the ladies will write you a pass to class. After the second offense, you will instead go to ISS for that period, and classwork will be given at 75% credit. If you are swept to ISS for a period, it's just for the period, and you'll need to get to the next class on time the next day. But if you're swept, it's your responsibility to be in touch with the teacher about getting the assignments.
Course withdrawal and add policy. Students, you have 5 days, these first 5 days of the semester, to add a course if you wish to add one, and you have 10 days of the semester, of the first semester, in order to withdraw from a course.
Don't let Father Time get away from you.
Powerades, juices, and other drinks are sold in the lobby area. However, those are only allowed in the lobby area, and water is the only beverage that should be brought into the classroom. No food is allowed outside the lunchroom and/or junior or senior lounge without permission.
Cell phones. Cell phones are allowed for use anywhere except the classrooms and library, or wherever classes are meeting. So the expectation of our students is that upon entering a classroom, you will turn your cell phone immediately into the cell phone caddy that is placed near the entrance of the door in every single classroom. Then, when the bell rings and as you are dismissed, you may pick up the cell phone on your way out of class. If you are found in possession of a cell phone during class, the first offense will result in 2 detentions, and your parent will have to come and pick up the phone. A second offense is also 2 detentions. Your parent will also have to come and pick up the phone, but then for the next 20 school days, you will have to turn the phone in each day to the office. And a third offense, again, detentions, parent picks up the phone, and in this case, then you will actually lose your privilege to carry your phone with you for the duration of the school year.
During lunchtime, we have a set of rules. The biggest one is stay in line and be respectful of those around you. When you get into the lunch line, just remember your lunch number. If you forget it, the ladies can help you look it up in this first few days as well. You can charge up to 5 meals, which is approximately $15. So be careful about the a la carte because they can add up in a hurry. It may not be 5 meals if you're charging 3 or 4 a la carte items from the edge. So ask questions if you have them as you get into the lunch line today. Some lunchtime rules are that freshmen and sophomores need to stay in the lunchroom area during lunch. You can't leave campus, you can't go out front of the building, you got to stay in the lunchroom area. We do periodically take attendance, and if you are absent during that attendance, you'll be assigned a detention. Juniors and seniors may choose to leave campus for lunch, but if you do choose to stay on campus for lunch, which we highly encourage, you also need to stay in the lunchroom area as well in order to make sure that the classes that are going on can maintain a good atmosphere. The only other thing on this slide, I guess, is staying out of the gym. We don't want food and drink in the gym. We're just kind of wrapping up on refinishing those floors, and that's a big place to keep clean. So we ask that you respect that and respect all the work that our custodians do by staying out of the gym and keeping any food or drink both in the mornings and at lunchtime out of there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Juniors and seniors who are in good standing have open campus. Open campus means that you are allowed to leave for lunch. It also means that you are allowed to have an open and go to the junior senior lounge or the library instead of going to a study hall. However, juniors and seniors, open campus does not mean that you are allowed to roam the halls or be in the commons area outside the classrooms because that can be disruptive to the learning environment. Also, just because you have open campus doesn't mean that you will always have open campus. If you have any failing grades at either the midterm or the quarter, if you have any incomplete grades at either of those times, if you have an unexcused absence because you skipped a class or skipped an assembly, then you will lose your open campus. So it's a privilege and not a right.
We ask that you be respectful in your parking. Many of you will be driving to school, and you'll see there's a Google map here on the right, and there's areas that for parking, and we just remind you that this area here, and then also down, you can see the mouse moving, hopefully, this area down here is always open. I've never been in the parking lot where there hasn't been some parking available. We reserve these 2 smaller areas for teacher and guest parking, so please park in the appropriate place. If you don't, we assign 3 detentions. It's not a single detention, but 3 detentions if you're parked either on a yellow line or outside where the marked yellow lines are, or if you're parked in the teacher or guest parking area. Handicap and fire zones will be ticketed by the City of Pierre and referred to the office for additional detentions.
I am watching you.
Semester tests are a big part of your grade. They account for 20% of your entire semester grade. All students will take all exams. We do offer semester test vouchers for a couple of different scenarios. One is due to attendance. If a student misses 2 days or less per semester, per class, and have no tardies or unexcused absences, they are eligible for a voucher. So if you look up and you can see the little arrow, student number 1 would be eligible for a semester test voucher because all of the gray marks are absent exempts, which means the student was gone probably for an activity like football or volleyball. Okay, the student missed 1 class period 4th, 1 class period 5th, and 1 class period 7th. So he or she would be eligible for a voucher. Now, student 2, who also has, at first glance, very good attendance, would not be eligible for a voucher, even though he or she only missed 2 periods, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th period. The student does miss or has missed 4 class periods during 6th period. And so this student on the right-hand side would not be eligible for an attendance voucher because of the absences during 6th period. The other way that students can earn a semester test voucher are if they were proficient or advanced in their testing from either their 8th grade or junior year, their Smarter Balance testing. So this will only impact freshmen and seniors. And also, if you have had to serve in school or out of school suspension at any time, regardless of your attendance, you will not be eligible for a semester test voucher.
Teachers, feel free to pause this and have the discussion with your students to clarify any questions that they may have.
The next issue that is really important and that we want to spend a little bit of time on is harassment. The definition of harassment in our policy is that it consists of physical or verbal conduct related to a person's race, color, religion, creed, ancestry, gender, sexual orientation, national origin, age, disability, or other basis prohibited by law when the conduct is so severe, pervasive, and objectively offensive that it does one of these two things. Either A, has the purpose of affecting or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work or academic environment, or B, has the purpose or effect of substantially or unreasonably interfering with an individual's work performance, which deprives the staff member access to employment or academic opportunities. Here is the bottom line. As you grow older, some of these behaviors that in elementary or middle school that may have at one time been considered teasing or even bullying can now turn into harassment. And that is a very significant step that as young men and young women you need to avoid. So really be cautious of the words we say to people and how we treat people so that we avoid harassment of any kind.
And the only other thing I'll add to this is this harassment can occur in a face-to-face element, or it could occur over social media. So there are things that can happen on social media that have a negative effect on the learning at Briggs. And it is important to us to address those things and make sure that we continue to have a healthy environment. The next couple of slides talk about student dress. If you are found in violation of the dress code, you'll be asked to change clothing immediately and will be signed a detention. Some examples of unacceptable clothing include clothing with inappropriate language, advertisements for inappropriate things, clothing with sexual innuendos, shorts that are too short, skirts that are too short, tube tops, any shirt that might show midriff, or clothing that shows undergarments. And on the next slide, I have some examples in the past that you abide by these dress policies while at school and at school activities.
Please dress nicely and tastefully.
The following two pages are from the handbook and show the discipline matrix that the principals use when dealing with inappropriate behaviors by students. And we're not going to go through every single offense and all the consequences, but do understand that the discipline policy that we follow is a progressive policy, meaning that the more significant the misbehavior, the more significant the consequence. Also understand that as consequences or inappropriate behaviors occur over and over again, the consequences for those behaviors will also become more and more severe. So bottom line, make good choices, make it a great year. You control your own behaviors.
You make us so happy when you follow the rules.
Detentions are 1/2 hour of student time and can be served as early as 7 o'clock during the morning. If you would like to serve your detention in the morning, please report to the main office to be directed as to where that detention should be served. If you earn a detention Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday during the week, you will be expected to serve that detention before school any day that week or Saturday of that same week. If you earn a detention later in the week, on Thursday or Friday, you'll be expected to serve those detentions by Saturday of the following week to avoid further consequence. Consequences for skipping Saturday in detention include a day of ISS, and if you're a junior or senior with open campus, you will lose that privilege. A third skip is a day of OSS and a mandatory parent meeting. A fourth skip is parent meeting and possible long-term suspension. So if for any reason you do earn a detention, please make sure that you take care of it in a timely manner.
And unfortunately, if behaviors or circumstances require it, we do have in-school and out-of-school suspension. If a student is assigned in-school suspension, as Mrs. Bucci said, it is now in a room off of the library. There will be no computer usage unless it's assigned for a particular assignment. Students who are put in ISS are responsible for getting assignments from the teachers and back to the teachers by the end of the day. That is their responsibility. Failure to do that will result in a 0 for the day's assignments. Also, if you are assigned in-school suspension, you will not be dismissed at 3:02 when everyone else is. You will stay until 3:15. Students assigned out of school suspension are responsible for making arrangement with teachers and getting work made up and turned in upon their return. All work that is turned in is given 75% credit if it is turned in. So the maximum you can get is 75% credit. Anything that is not turned in is zeroed out. Last but certainly not least, we want to wish you a great school year. Riggs High School is absolutely one of the great places to be. It is absolutely one of the greatest high schools in the state, and we are very happy you're here. If you ever have any questions or need to discuss anything, the principal's doors are always open. Have a wonderful school year.
Don't forget the 3 B's. Be here, be productive, and behave.